Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, Israel intensifying pressure on Hamas as it prepares to attack the terrorist group again. And human rights groups saying the new government in Syria is guilty of a massacre with 1,000 killed in recent days. Here at home, growing concerns of a trade war between the United States and Canada as Republicans try to keep the government going and avoid a shutdown. We're going to hear from a gang leader in Haiti who has an unusual plea for President Donald Trump to help his country. And we're going to show you one ministry from Texas bringing clean water and hope to the biggest slum in Africa. All those stories and more right now on CBN NewsWatch. We're going to begin this half hour in Israel as the buildup of pressure on Hamas goes to release the remaining hostages. Israel is cutting off electricity to Gaza and preparing to go back to war against Hamas again. Meanwhile, in Syria, human rights groups are accusing the new regime of a massacre against civilians. More than 1,000 people have been killed in recent days. CBN's Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us a story from Jerusalem.
The new Islamist government in Syria says its brutal crackdown on the Alawite community is a response to a rising rebellion of supporters of the deposed Assad regime. They claim those rebels carried out attacks against forces of the new government last week.
We will not tolerate the remnants of Assad who have committed crimes against our army forces and state institutions.
But others say the Sunni forces of President al-sharaa, also known as Julani, massacred the Alawites. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on Saturday more than 1,000 people, mostly Alawite civilians, had been killed. Charmaine Hedding of the Shai Fund has been helping refugees and persecuted Christians in the Middle East for years. She says people on the ground tell her the numbers are higher.
We're hearing reports of 2,000 to 3,000, and it's increasing every couple of hours. And we're seeing images and speaking to people on the ground that are just saying the bodies are piled up in the streets.
In a statement, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemned what he called radical Islamist terrorists who murdered people in recent days, saying the U.S. stands with ethnic minorities, including Christian, Druze, Alawite, and Kurdish communities. As trouble mounts for its northern neighbor, Israel is increasing the pressure on Hamas to release the remaining 59 hostages. It's cut off electricity it supplies to Gaza and is considering cutting off water. Also, the IDF is drawing up new war plans if Hamas doesn't free the hostages, lay down its arms, and give up governing in Gaza.
We will employ all the tools available to us so that all the hostages will return, and we will ensure that Hamas won't be in Gaza on the day after.
The U.S. has been dealing directly with the terror group to free the last living American hostage and all the hostages. U.S. negotiator Adam Bowler said he allayed Israel's concerns over those talks in a conversation with Ron Dermer, the Minister of Strategic Affairs.
I think I was able to put him at ease, that I wasn't going to go off the rails, that it would be parameters that we would work on together.
Meanwhile, Iran is refusing to negotiate with the U.S. about halting its rush to develop nuclear weapons.
Some bullying governments insist on negotiations. Their negotiation is not aimed at resolving issues. They negotiate to dictate their will.
President Trump wrote Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei about the White House desire to strike a deal rather than attack Iran militarily to derail its nuclear ambitions.
I've written him a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Here at home, it appears a tariff war between the United States and Canada may now be unavoidable. It comes as House Republican leaders are hoping to head off a government shutdown Friday, with continuing resolutions to keep the government operating. CBN's Dale Hurd is on the story.
The Republican funding proposal endorsed by President Trump over the weekend would keep the government running until the end of September while also reducing spending. Democrats oppose it. Even if Republicans manage to get it through the House with their razor-thin majority, it faces trouble in the Senate.
You don't have 60 votes with the Senate Republicans. So it's going to become a challenge for the Senate Republicans and the Senate Democrats to decide who's going to get blamed for this thing.
Meanwhile, the economy and the stock market face more uncertainty, with President Trump warning he could impose 25% tariffs on Canadian dairy and lumber as early as today, after ordering a temporary reprieve on auto tariffs. Trump's also not ruling out the possibility of a recession in the U.S.
There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. It takes a little time.
But Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said Sunday Trump will win without a recession.
Anybody who bets against Donald Trump, it's like the same people who thought Donald Trump wasn't a winner a year ago. Donald Trump is a winner. He's going to win for the American people.
Democrats slammed the trade policy.
They're destroying the economy, and they're making it harder and harder for Americans to afford things.
The newly elected leader of Canada's Liberal Party and soon-to-be Prime Minister Mark Carney is sounding ready for a fight after his victory Sunday.
He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. In trade, as in hockey, Canada will win.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says while there are economic reasons for the tariffs, illegal drugs are the main issue.
It really is about fentanyl. It really is. And I think the president obviously wants a strong economy, obviously wants better trade deals as well. But this is about fentanyl and what we can do to stop the cartels from partnering with Chinese officials, laundering money, and bringing a poison into our country.
Noem also pointed out that border crossings under Trump have reached a 25-year low and called on Congress to pass spending bills so the operations can continue. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Coming up, it is one of the darkest, filthiest, and most hopeless places in the world. It's also the site of a theological and spiritual miracle. We're going to show you how one group is delivering clean and living water inside the biggest slum in Africa when we come back. In Kenya, hundreds of thousands of people are crammed into Africa's largest slums. Kibera is a gang-infested place of extreme poverty that lacks clean water and sanitation. The good news, hope is now rising through an outreach from Texas called the Bucket Ministry. George Thomas brings us the story from Nairobi, Kenya.
Based on that testimony, I am honored and blessed to baptize you, my sister, in the name of the Father, the Son, and that sweet Holy Ghost.
There is a place in Kenya called Kibera.
Infamous for its gritty reputation,
the people of Kibera are no strangers to the use of force.
Where crime and violence lurk at nearly every corner.
By so many young people being killed.
Police opening fire on demonstrators.
That is why many people fear Kibera.
Kibera faces extreme poverty and gang violence, while lacking basic amenities like clean water and sanitation, earning its reputation as one of the darkest, filthiest, and most hopeless places in the world.
Kibera today is Africa's largest slum, and this is what a typical house kind of looks like.
Measuring only 8 by 8 feet, homes consist of mud walls, a corrugated tin roof, and either a dirt or concrete floor.
And there's not a bathroom in the home. There's not a kitchen area in the home. It's basically sitting and sleeping only.
Walk with me. I want to show you guys what's going on here.
Chris Beth, founder of the Bucket Ministry, first stepped into Kibera in 2017. What he saw shook him to his core.
There wasn't one home that had access to clean, safe drinking water.
Water here isn't a blessing, it's a curse.
This is a common sight here. Folks have lined up their jerry cans to get water. The original source of where this water is coming from is typically clean and safe to drink. It has to then travel through this intricate spider web-like system of pipes. The problem is that many of those pipes are broken and contaminated water ends up coming into those pipes. Go ahead. The Bucket Ministry has shown through their research extensive research, they've shown that once the water comes to this point, the water is still very contaminated.
So what you see is these snaked water lines all over this place that are on the surface. And most of them are illegally connected. They're scabbed onto each other, and all of them leak. Those leaks will actually start to suck sewage water into the pipes and contaminate the entire system with E. coli, amoebic dysentery, typhoid, cholera.
Endless piles of trash scatter throughout Kibera. The absence of proper sewage leaves human waste on the streets, which then ends up in the water.
The official statistics say there are 78 latrines in all of Kibera, serving over 400,000 people. Let that settle in for a second.
Beth recognized the urgent need for clean water and sent a team of 60 to canvass the slum.
And all they did for 4 months was knock on every single one of the doors in this place. The result of that was we found out that there were 81,777 homes. We found out that there was about 408,000 people created in God's image that are sequestered to live in this place.
In 2000, the Bucket Ministry began a groundbreaking effort, distributing life-saving water filters to each home here. George Owegi, a local elder here, was initially skeptical.
Many NGOs, many people have come, and they have never made any impact. So when I saw them, I thought they are just the same like other people.
But this effort changed minds as Beth partnered with Sawyer to distribute plastic buckets, each equipped with a filtration system that makes contaminated water drinkable.
There's these membranes, and the contaminants, the dirty water, are getting caught on the outside of these membranes, and then the clean water comes through the inside of the membranes.
100 local missionaries, mostly Kibera residents, joined in by installing filters and teaching residents how to maintain them. Missionary leader Phoebe Mafula says the impact was clear after only about 70 days of using the filters.
As we are speaking today, there's a lot of changes, especially through clean, safe drinking water. A lot of diseases has been eradicated.
It all starts with the barcode on a filter.
The Bucket Ministry used a mapping software to track every filter.
At the point of distribution, we scan the barcode and deliver the filter to the recipient family. We then collect baseline data on the family's physical health and spiritual orientation to chart their progress.
And then every follow-up visitation, we scan the barcode again, and we collect new data.
The result?
What you are seeing right now is a time progression map with the blue dots being actual locations of filters distributed in the Kibera by the Bucket Ministry teams.
Beth's team distributed 81,777 filters, providing clean water to all 408,478 residents of the slum. The project reached completion in December as Michael Wanjohi became the last filter recipient.
It's a miracle to me. For real, it's 100% miracle.
And the transformation doesn't stop there.
The water is the secondary reason why we're there. The gospel is the sole reason.
Though he sent Jesus the Messiah.
Missionaries visited every single home here, sharing the gospel.
Next, you will see white dots populating. These white dots represent where our local missionary teams have witnessed professions of faith by the families that have received the life-saving water filters and heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. Again, these are precise GPS positions and dates of the interaction.
Local pastor and 44-year resident Rafael Dihanda tells CBN News no NGO has ever shared the gospel so widely in Kibera.
When the Bucket Ministry came in and they recruited the missionaries going and supplying the filters and the buckets, people started accepting the gospel. And we can see now the great harvest is coming in the kingdom of God.
More than 22,000 people gave their lives to Christ. And the miracles keep going.
Lastly, you will see yellow dots populating on the top of the blue and white dots. These represent the actual locations and dates of where our teams have taught ongoing discipleship lessons in the homes of filter recipients.
The team shared over 500,000 discipleship lessons.
Nobody has ever done this. Thinking of visiting someone, maybe for one, twice, thrice, just going there. It has never been done.
Owegi says the spiritual effects rippled across the slum, transforming lives in a way no one expected.
People are testifying. People are leaving crime. They are changing their ways. They have reformed.
Prostitution, which had been a survival mechanism for so many women in Kibera, also began to fade.
People didn't know Christ, but what we have done and the work that has been done in Kibera through God is really tremendous.
More than 1,500 people were baptized, including Samuel Mwangi.
I was a very bad person before today. I was untrustworthy. I was a thief, a drug addict, but God healed me. Missionaries visited my home and told me about Jesus Christ, and I accepted him into my life.
With work in Kibera complete, Beth's team is now taking the mission to a nearby slum. The Bucket Ministry has decided to come to this community on the outskirts of Nairobi, known as Kawangware, as their next project. The initial assessment is that there are about 153,000 homes.
At the cross, where I first saw the light.
Work began January 1st with some 3,000 filters already distributed and more than 600 people giving their lives to Jesus Christ. Beth aims to reach all 710,000 residents here with the gospel's living water within the next 4 years. George Thomas, CBN News, Nairobi, Kenya.
Still ahead, Haiti is a nation in chaos. We're going to hear from a coalition leader who controls Port-au-Prince and who has this appeal for President Trump: cut off all support to Haiti and bring peace to the country. We're going to bring you the story right after this. The Trump administration's crackdown on immigration and foreign aid has many Haitians facing an uncertain future. Hundreds of thousands living in the U.S. under asylum claims may soon be sent back to the country that's in chaos. Chuck Holton talks with a gang leader that some say holds the keys to Haiti's future.
With gangs controlling 80% of the capital, Haiti remains in crisis. Millions here have no food or shelter, and violence is rampant. It's this desperation that forced so many to flee to start a new life in the United States. That life could soon be turned upside down with the Trump administration shutting down foreign aid and deporting illegal immigrants back to their home countries.
We have seen the number tripled to over 1 million people who have now been displaced because of gang violence in Haiti. This is a really troubling number.
Many question why Haiti seems to be mired in dire straits, especially after receiving billions in foreign aid for decades.
If money was a problem in Haiti, it would have been fixed now. But unfortunately, the political sphere in the country and the business community have been using their influence and their affluence to create the mess that we have in the country.
Rampant corruption squandered most of it, and one man is seeking to help end that cycle.
Nobody gets to walk through this neighborhood. There are armed gang members all up and down these streets. This is a red zone, they call it. This is not open to even vehicular traffic. Normal private cars don't come down here because they'll get shot. And we're having a real opportunity today to tour these streets with the man who is in charge of this neighborhood, Jimmy Cherizier.
Once a police officer, Cherizier now leads a coalition called Vivant Ensemble, controlling much of Port-au-Prince. He's accused of brutal violence, earning him the infamous nickname Barbecue Cherizier. But he calls that a distortion.
My mother was a street vendor. She used to sell cooked food on the street. So I bear the name Jimmy Barbecue because my mother used to sell barbecue. Now that the system wants to destroy my character, so they use it and put a tag on it saying that, pretending that I'm the one who is burning people. I wanted the whole world to know that that has nothing to do with to see with truth.
Cherizier says he's not looking to take control of the country for himself, though he's often called the most powerful person in Haiti. Human rights groups accuse him of mass killings and intimidation, claims he denies.
It's not on my mind to become president. Before thinking about taking any position in Haiti, I have a lot of allegations against me. I would have to go to court first to clean my dossier. All I'm doing now is fighting for better conditions of living for my people.
While Haiti's interim government appeals to the Pope for more foreign aid.
With President Trump being in power now, he said that he will not help other countries, then he will cut the aid that USAID was providing to Haiti. And I'm asking the Pope to intervene.
Cherizier says the world is funding corrupt leaders. He wants the U.S. to cut off all support and help him bring peace to his country.
Every day, we are promoting dialogue to stop the violence. If we come to a dialogue with Mr. Trump's secretary, we will do what we say.
With potentially thousands of deportees soon arriving in Haiti, an even bigger crisis may be brewing. Considering the history of aid to the country, however, more money might not be the solution.
We need to drain the swamp.
From Port-au-Prince, I'm Chuck Holt for CBN News.
We're coming right back with an encouraging word for your Monday. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Time now for your Monday motivation, and I leave you with this thought as we begin another week together. God promises to give us peace, but remember, peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of God in the middle of problems. It is written in the pages of Scripture. He will keep you in perfect peace, all whose mind stays on Him. With that word, make this a marvelous Monday. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. Take a moment, let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. We'll see you back here same time tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. God bless.